Hello and welcome back to a brand new episode of Attack on Show. I'm your host, Robbie. We've got a very exciting episode for you today. In studio, we've got director of the Return to Hardwick documentary, Mr. Michael Sellers is here, everybody. So give it up for him. We're going to get some inside information on what it took to bring that film together. And then also, he wanted to join in on Beacon Rewind, and we're going to take a look at Michael's favorite movie, the Al Pacino starring film, Dog Day Afternoon. But first, we got to kick things off with a movie Maniac Minute. So let's start the clock. Deadpool co-writer Paul Wernick has confirmed that the movie franchise will stay R-rated. That's great news because I know there was a lot of concern out there when Disney purchased the rights from Sony, but it does appear that it will be staying R-rated, and they also confirmed that it will touch in the Marvel Universe. However they do that, I don't know, but I am excited to see Deadpool interact with the other Marvel characters, but keep its edge on the R-rated. In other news, Doogie Howser appears to be joining the world of Matrix 4. That's right, Neil Patrick Harris has been signed to join Keanu Reeves and Carrie-Anne Moss in the upcoming sequel. Very excited to see how this is coming together. And then in final casting news, we have a Batman casting update. Zoe Kravitz has been cast as Catwoman. Obviously some big shoes to fill after the Halle Berry masterpiece.
What a perfect idea.
This is great news, and Jason Momoa had a stoked response to the casting. Very excited to see her fill her role as this movie is starting to really come together. Everybody, that's all the time I have. That's Movie Maniac Minute, and it is time to start Attack on Show. All right, so as promised, we've got special guest Michael Sellers here today. Michael, thank you for being on set.
Of course, man.
This is awesome having you all the way from
no
New
problem.
York. Isn't that crazy? Like, Attack on Show's gone legit. We've got out-of-state visitors now.
Right, Brooklyn.
That's awesome. So we're here today to talk about, we actually met you at the Royal Star Film Festival.
That's it. Yeah.
And you're basically touring the entire country right now with this Return to
Man,
Hardwick, correct?
I feel like I have. Yes, I am. I mean, it's one of those things where, you know, you make a film truly independent. I mean, this World War II group raised the money to do this film. So it's one of those things where, like, all right, we raised the money. Let's make the film. Now we got to show the film. I mean, and this is kind of like the screening phase of getting the buzz out. You know, a lot of people on Facebook are asking me, how can I see this? I need the DVD. Yeah. And we're not doing it yet. We're screening across the country, film festivals, and museums. So that's what it's at.
It's an excellent documentary, and for those of you, if you did not see the interview for the Royal Star Festival, it is the 93rd bomber group that you're following. This followed a group that were stationed in Hardwick. Yeah. They set up a bomber base there during World War II, and the documentary actually takes now sons, daughters, grandchildren. Traveled with them to Hardwick to return them back so they can start to learn about their lineage, correct?
Oh, yeah. He did his homework.
I watched the film. It's an amazing documentary. So, yes.
Yeah. I mean, you said it exactly. It's about, you know, at this time, an average veteran, it depends on when they were in the war, but the average veteran is mid-90s, and I just got back. That's why I'm here with you. I'm at a reunion that's in the Detroit metro area. We have a veteran there. He stood up and he said, "Hi, I'm almost 100 years old."
Wow.
And he showed up to this reunion. So these are the kind of guys that we're hanging out with. The problem is that we are losing them. So in a way, it's about those sons, daughters, second, third, fourth generation, some kids that need to show up and need to understand what these guys did.
Passing the stories, yes.
And then you pass it on. So in the film, we talk about that. Not only the history about the group, but also that future. So
one of the amazing points of the film that really stood out to me was, forgive me, I forgot their names, but you took, I believe it was a daughter. She got to see where her parents were married. And it wasn't even a church anymore, the building that her parents were married in, but they had matched pictures. And it was amazing because you guys were able to talk to the owners of, it was a house now. Yeah. It was a church converted into a house, and you were able to talk to the owners, and they let you in to film.
Oh, yeah.
And it was amazing because what they take these pictures from the wedding, and you can see, you know, this is the window that's behind her parents.
Yeah.
And she stood where they stood and got married in the hallway. And
I mean, you're describing it. I'm actually getting goosebumps, but I actually made the film, so it's kind of weird. But yes, we actually got to go back to this church. Back in the day, it was a church. Now, I even think before the war, it was a church. This church has been there forever. But during the war, it was a local church there, and they married people there.
Yes.
And a lot of servicemen, women came over and got married. And in the story, in the film, we tell a little more detail of it was a little hush-hush. You know, if people did know they were getting married, that'd be a bad thing. Just because the war's going on, they don't want to be people distracted. But yeah, we got to know these people, and they let us in their home now. It's a complete home. So they live in an old church. One side fact, which I always think is interesting, which we don't put in the film, it's that there was a woman down the street when we were shooting, and some of the neighbors let us know that she's there. She's older. She's in her probably maybe late 80s, early 90s, and she was a child in that church and wound the clock.
Oh, wow.
Every day, every couple days or whatever, and knew about the weddings that went on there, and even thinks that she remembers the wedding that Gail is her name in our film. So it's one of those things like, whoa. So our lead, who was in, we were profiling, she went down and hung out at her home for a little while and talked to her. But
that's interesting. Stuff like that just happened on the fly. And I love the style of filming and how you edited this picture. The way this all came together, more importantly, is to see the landscapes. And I'm always obsessed with like abandoned buildings and what they used to be. And it's interesting because you found the matching pictures and you lined them up perfect with the shot, and then you see what it was, and then it fades into what it is today, or not even there. Like you would find landscape and then post where, show the building that used to be there. And it was amazing to see how much has changed over the time. And you really brought us back into that moment to feel what these people were going through. And
thank you.
It's going to be a great learning experience, I think, for a lot of people to watch this.
Yeah, I mean, what you're describing there is actually the first thing that we had the idea for the film. Is this before and after before, whichever way you want to go. But the historian of the group is a volunteer historian, but he is like super into all these photos and films of this actual group that was in the war. And I said, we got to do something with that. We have to do this back and forth of like what it is. Let's go stand in the spot where this photo was taken or film, and let's see what is there now.
Right.
So that's almost a whole nother section of the film, is just sort of dealing with that and seeing that this used to be an airbase. It used to be a working airbase at the top. 6,000 men and women used to work there.
Yeah.
At its height. So, and then once the war was over, it went back down. Farmers started taking it back over, and most of it is farmland now.
Yes, and that's the interesting thing to see about is just how much of it's just farmland. I mean, you guys were going through the woods to try and find certain locations of the pictures that you had, and removing shrubbery just to say, hey, this is where they were standing in this picture. And it's an amazing experience, and you've had some great success on the film festival tour. I mean, you've been racking up the awards.
I guess I have. I mean, it's one of those things where I guess it's a very cliche thing. Happy to be nominated, but yeah, it pops up every now and then where we get a nomination at a film festival, which is kind of cool, and have won a few here and there. So bonus, I guess. Like, get the little accolades there on the film. Not only the festivals, but the museum film festivals. I really dig, I gotta tell you. And I can mention it, maybe you might talk about it in a minute here, but as far as Michael Cudlitz being...
Michael Cudlitz, yes.
Part of the film, it's definitely something to talk about. Michael Cudlitz's Band of Brothers fame. He played Denver Bull Randleman in Band of Brothers.
I know him from, he stole my high school crush, Brenda Walsh from Beverly Hills 90210. He took her to homecoming, and I've known him ever since then. But yeah, no, he's great. I think a lot of people will know him, especially from Walking Dead.
Walking Dead, he played Abraham in Walking Dead. So
an amazing actor. My favorite, and I hate to keep pivoting, my all-time favorite, though, Michael Cudlitz's role is Bob from Grosse Pointe Blank.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, do you want to just skip to the end?
To the very end. For a while.
That's good, man.
For a while.
That's excellent.
It's great.
Very quick scene, but like stole the show.
No,
It was awesome. But how did he get involved in this?
That's a good question, because it's actually kind of like, how did he get involved? Because it was like somebody in our group, the World War II group, knew somebody who knew somebody who knew somebody. It's always kind of like that way a little bit.
6 degrees.
Yeah, exactly. This was a little less. It was kind of just a few people, and it eventually got down the line to where that person did call him.
Oh, okay.
And then it got back through the line, and then I got a call from Michael one day, and he's like, "Hey, heard you got a film. What do you need?" So he heard about the project a
Did you
little
think
bit.
it was a prank call, or?
I was like, I can't really. And then he was like, "No, it's Michael." But he wanted to know what it was about. You know, he wanted to know what the film was about. And as soon as he kind of like got the gist of it and was like, "Okay, no problem. I'll be there. Let me know what I can do." So he had to actually come over and do an on-camera introduction. You know, most people, they may say, "Yeah, no problem. Let me know when you need to do voiceover or something."
Right.
He was the opposite. We actually shot this thing for the front. And then later he said, "If you need voiceover, let me know." Like I didn't even know I didn't want to ask him because he did enough coming out to do this on camera thing. And I had kind of thought about maybe not using voiceover. I was kind of like, let me see if I can put this thing together. As soon as I started putting the film together, I was like, I need some voiceover.
Yes.
Boom. Went
And
right to him and
wraps it in so well. His voice is so fitting. And having the Band of Brothers tie-in,
exactly.
it's
the Band of Brothers tie-in works good. I don't think he knew, maybe he did, but I don't think he knew how well he does voiceover.
Right.
And I'm going to actually see him. We have a screening coming up in Seattle at the Museum of Flight. So this is sort of putting it out there.
All the attackers in Seattle, go check it out.
Yes, exactly. Go to the museum. First of all, go to the Museum of Flight because it's a great museum. That museum is, it's right next to Boeing, where Boeing makes all their planes.
Yeah.
That factory, in fact, is kind of interesting to see. But this museum has a huge theater, like, you know, big museums do, and they're going to play the film there, but he is going to show up.
Awesome.
I just got an email from him today actually confirming that he is going to be there, so.
Might have to book a flight.
Got to come over. But that's part of it. What's happening is that because he was involved then, even some of my friends and some people involved with the film said they literally thought he was just going to drop off at some point. But
right.
He's like, keep me up to date. If I can go, I'll go.
That's so cool, yeah.
He's busy. He's now directing Walking Dead, believe it or not.
He went behind the camera for a lot of episodes.
So I think they're going to bring him back for more. We did talk a little about that at another museum screening we had a few months ago. So,
obviously, I even was asked, where can people find this film on the site when we interviewed you?
Yeah.
Where's the process at right now? I know you're looking at a DVD release.
Yeah. So to answer that, kind of what's happening is we like the buzz of like, nope, you can only see it at museum or festivals. That's really what it's about. If you go to hardwickfilm.com,
the link is below.
I have got the list on there, and it's what's left. I think I have to add one more. We got another one in Florida.
Nice.
I am getting tired. I need to stop at some point. It's been me out there doing this, but I've thoroughly enjoyed it. What is happening now is that we're getting our chain of title. And if any filmmakers are out there, chain of title is very important, along with your E&O insurance. We're getting both of those locked up.
Excellent.
As soon as we do, our lawyer will give the check mark, and we can start for distribution. And it will be on disc and streaming.
I was going to say, are you looking at streaming platforms as well? All streaming platforms right now, or going to hone in on?
Believe it or not, we may start with international, and then it may come U.S.
Oh, okay.
But there is an option.
So those people that hack their Netflix.
Exactly. You could probably get it then.
Those IP changers.
But yeah, then I think I have been talking to people for possible theatrical distribution, so it may still be in the theaters as well.
Okay.
A little more widely out there.
It's an amazing documentary, and I'm really happy that you came and saw us again here in the studio, because I really love the film at the festival. Keep an eye out for more information, especially on the show here. We will update you when it comes out for DVD, when it becomes available on streaming. But before we get to that, Michael, we've got a very important segment for you here. It's time for 5 questions to see if you achieve attacker status. Are you ready for this?
Oh my gosh. Check. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
These are very tough questions, so I hope you pass, because I want you to achieve attacker status. So we're gonna start with the first one. This is a tie into the next segment that we're gonna enjoy here. But what is the worst Pacino film? He's got a lot of good ones. I want to see what you think is worse: Geely or Godfather 3?
I'm gonna say Godfather 3.
Yeah, that's a pretty rough one.
I have to say it.
Yeah, no, I get it.
I was disappointed in Godfather. Yeah. I got to tell you, after Godfather 2, and I know it was a time, gone by. And
right.
Coppola got a little older and whatever, and maybe they get a little easier filmmaking, but
it was just disconnected.
Yeah.
It didn't feel like a part. No, I think a lot of people like to ignore that one.
Yeah.
Number 2, so that one's right. Number 2, who would you rather command? going with the war theme here. The Dirty Dozen or the Inglorious Bastards?
I gotta tell you, my dad is former military. My grandfather, obviously, I forgot to tell you, my grandfather is connected to the 93rd. That's why I got involved with that. I would have to go with the first.
The Dirty Dozen?
The Dirty Dozen.
Dirty Dozen.
Because it's on point.
Yeah.
Glorious Bastard, they played around a little bit.
They did. They got chewed out before. Now that one wins. All right. Now this one, we always like to do what's better, the original or the remake. So I'm going to give you two movies. One's the original, one's the remake, and you pick which one was better. Right. The original being Star Wars, the remake being The Devil's Advocate with Pacino and Keanu Reeves.
Oh. So you're saying remake Star Wars like...
Or Devil, it's the same thing. When you look at the plots, they're pretty similar. The father trying to turn the son to the dark side and take over.
So let me just clarify though. Star Wars original to...
To The Devil's Advocate. Which movie would you say is better?
Devil's Advocate.
Really?
Yeah.
Now that one caught me off guard.
I would.
Yeah, you like that one?
I think so, yeah.
Pacino fan.
Now, I guess, just to clarify, though, are you talking about Force Awakens? Or are you
No, I'm talking a New Hope.
Talking about New Hope?
Yeah, New Hope is more...
Okay.
Yeah, Devil's Advocate's...
All right. Maybe I need to change my answer.
You going to go with New Hope?
I go with New Hope.
Okay, good, because you're going to lose the attacker status on that one. No? All right, so we're going to change it to Star Wars New Hope. That's on the board.
Yay!
Excellent. We're still in the running here.
You're helping me out.
You have to phone a friend.
Yeah.
Let's see. Next one here. Who was a better pilot? Maverick or Doug Masters from Iron Eagle?
I liked Iron Eagle.
Yeah, I did too. The cassette tape on the leg, that was...
I'd have to say Maverick, though.
Maverick, yeah. And he's coming back.
And he's coming
Super
back,
excited
so
for that.
that's
He's still a captain, though, so I don't know if that means he's a good
I
pilot.
don't know what that means. The trailer's confusing.
All right, so you went on that one. So number 5, the final question for attacker status. I hope you get this. Let's see, you're a captain in war. Who would you rather have as your number 2?
Okay.
There's Sergeant Horvath, which was Tom Sizemore from Private Ryan. Sergeant Earl Cistern, which is Tom Sizemore from Pearl Harbor. Or we have a bonus third option on this one, Colonel Danny McKnight, which is Tom Sizemore from the Black Hawk Down.
I gotta say Private Ryan.
Private Ryan, yes.
Yeah,
Tom Sizemore
I
with the
gotta
win. We had some fun with him.
He was good. He was good.
He's good in those roles. But yeah, Private Ryan was awesome. He was great in that role.
Totally.
Yeah. So you achieve attacker status. So good job.
With help. Let's
For
note
that, after the show, you're going to get your own Attack on Show whiskey glass for getting attacker
is vodka,
status.
by the way.
But we're not done with Michael yet. We're actually going to now, you wanted to stick around and do Beacon Rewind, correct?
Yeah, man.
So
Let's do it.
Let's get the Beacon Rewind. All right, so it's Beacon Rewind. And for this week's episode, we picked your favorite film. I let you pick the movie. Dog Day Afternoon, the 1975 hit with Al Pacino in it. Not from Al Pacino, but...
No, he's in it.
This is your favorite film, huh?
Oh my gosh, it's one of them, of course. I mean, I didn't have you do Lawrence of Arabia because it's a long film.
Yeah, I wouldn't have been able to...
But that's one of my favorites, too.
But Dog Day Afternoon, it's a film, for those that haven't seen, it's basically like a bank robbery gone wrong.
That's great.
And I love the simplicity of the film, the one location set. I love movies like where it hones in on that. What was it about this movie that just kind of stuck with you?
You know, I got to tell you, the first thing that popped in my mind when I saw this is Al Pacino's performance.
Yes.
Freeze! Nobody move! Get over there! Okay. All right, get away from those alarms. Cut!
And Sidney Lumet, the director, has this way, it's social realism. He I believe, I saw a PBS documentary on him, and he was a child actor.
Oh, okay.
And he grew up in New York, and he did stage and all of that. And he took a lot of what he did with stage and as an actor and brought that to the movie set.
Okay.
So he would transform these actors and have them workshop, literally.
Oh.
I mean, workshop is key word in stage, and he brought that to film. And he would have these guys, and that brings on improv. That brings on this vibe of like, you feel like you're standing in that bank.
Yes.
In the corner watching this thing go down. So that is the first thing. And Al Pacino seemed to get right in that. And also...
John Cazale, was it?
Cazabel.
Cazabel.
Yes. or Cazale. Sorry, it's one of those names I always forget. But John, yeah. So those two. I mean, once they started getting together and doing their thing.
Sal, what? Where are you? You can't make it.
It you could almost say it is a stage. And the cameras are just there grabbing it.
Right. It's almost as if, I mean, this could be a play because of its sole one location. You'd really only need to change the stage towards the end of the film. And maybe once or twice at the end.
Totally.
Yes. But it's interesting. The movie is based on a true story. It's interesting when you do go read the true story compared to the differences. Obviously, there's always differences between the film and the true story. One thing I found interesting, the movie when it starts, I should backtrack. The movie when it starts, it's really funny. Like when he's trying to rob the bank and just everything that goes wrong. It's basically like a nice guy trying to rob a bank.
Yeah.
And anything and everything that can go wrong goes wrong.
Yep.
And in the film, one of the things, this is what's different than the true story, was when he goes to get the cash, there's only like $1,100 in there.
Yeah.
And they say they picked up money. But the true story was actually like $39,000.
There was a lot in there.
Yeah. So, but I like that change just for the idea of it. It just added to the humor of the film, and it tied so well to the character. And you're right, Al Pacino's performance in this. I always have fun with Pacino when people are shouting because like Pacino is known for shouting.
Yeah.
He does a lot of that in this movie.
It's a young Pacino.
It's a young Pacino, but you see a more mellow tone, like his eyes, just when you're reading the character in this film, because you can tell. It's out of character for the character to be doing what he's doing, and he portrays that so well in the film when I'm watching it. I was really impressed.
I mean, again, these guys came over and then kind of went over and did Godfather. So, and John was in there too. So these guys are good actors, and it's almost, again, it's kind of like we're talking about this like, duh.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at these
now,
actors.
But
then it was kind of like they're up and coming. I mean, I don't know how many Oscars, 5, 6 nominations, I think.
Yeah, best. I think it was up for Best Picture, I believe.
Yeah, got screenplay, I think.
Yep.
Lumet was up for director. In fact, I even read up that Lumet was nominated, I think, for 5 Oscars in his career, and he didn't get one.
Wow.
Which is crazy to think about, but he did eventually get an honorary
Took Spielberg a bit.
Oscar.
So
it did.
The Oscars. They're very political.
Yeah, it's very political. But yeah, I do like the fact it was a Life magazine, I think. It was where the article originally appeared.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and it was in there.
That's where he followed the story from?
Yeah, the story was from there. And I think a crime writer actually took that story and sort of converted it into the story that it was.
Great supporting cast. It was Charles Durning, the officer that has to negotiate with Pacino. Just, you felt pity for him because you could tell his hands were tied. And Pacino's character, again, if you haven't seen the movie, it's kind of as if it was like the changing of the tide where people started gathering around the bank and they started rooting for him because they were
Attica,
yes.
Which references Attica, New York. I don't know if you read up on this, which I actually had to look back a little bit because I do remember him doing that, obviously. Because it's conditions up in the prison up there.
Okay, because I needed to look that up because I didn't quite understand watching what Attica was. I was just laughing because they were all rooting for him. But I did need to look that up.
Very timely thing, I think, where at the time, prisoners up there, I guess they're prisoners, but they were really being treated bad at this facility.
So okay.
It was more of like fight for your rights kind of thing.
And he's riling up the crowd. He's throwing money out to him and just creating this whole circus outside of the bank. Making sure all the officers put their guns down and just really owning the crowd. And he owns those scenes. And Durning really bounced off him really well. One other casting I wanted to point out was Lance Henriksen, Bishop from Aliens.
Oh, yeah.
A young Lance Henriksen pops up in this, and a major role, no spoilers.
Yeah, he is.
But, he plays an officer, and it was interesting to see him so young in the film that, I paused it and was like, is that Lance? Because he's so young in the film.
I mean, think about it. Fast forward, what was Alien, 86, something around
Well, he was in
there?
Alien. He was in the second one.
Aliens.
Yeah,
he was
Bishop in
Aliens.
Aliens. That's a little later in the 80s. That's after Terminator. And
yeah.
So, but I mean, it's Lance. It's awesome to see him in it. But it was a movie that when you recommended, I'd always, it's that image. I used to work at Blockbuster, no secret, but that movie poster, for some reason, just melts in your brain. The black and white with the red writing and his eyes looking over the lettering. Yeah. It's always in my head. And when you suggested it, the cover box immediately, the poster popped in my head immediately. It was and I said to you, I'm embarrassed to admit I've not seen this movie, but I know I need to. So if there's any of you out there that have not seen the movie, with Michael's suggestion, he recommended it to me, so he's obviously going to recommend it to you. I'm going to recommend it as well because I was really impressed with the film.
Totally, man.
You can rent it on YouTube, Amazon. It's only $2.99 to rent in high definition. And I tell you, they really cleaned up the footage.
Does it look? I don't know what I saw it on last. But
I watched it on YouTube, and high definition. The picture quality was clear. Perfect. It didn't have that aged. The older movies, you kind of get that aged. Still, the sound's a little off, but you can only do so much with the original audio. But the picture in that's great. It's definitely worth watching. Highly recommend. Check
especially
out,
if you're into those gritty '70s movies.
Yes.
I mean, it really follows like right in that genre.
Yes.
Of crime heist. The clock is ticking. Takes place in one day. I love films that kind of go through that one day aspect of like you're on the ride with them, basically.
Yeah, you feel as if you're a prisoner in the bank. Man. Like you feel like you're one of the hostages, and it's interesting because you start rooting for them. The transition of the other hostages, you feel the same emotions they do. So it's a great watch. Definitely check out Dog Day Afternoon. And Michael, thank you so much for coming on the show, man. This has been a lot of fun.
No problem.
So again, don't forget to check out Return to Hardwick. We've got the link below to the website. We're going to keep you informed when it comes out on streaming. And as always, everybody, I'm Robbie. This is Michael Sellers from Return to Hardwick, and we're on Attack on Show.